In every nation, there are people who wait for history to be written for them. And then, there are people who write history themselves, without permission, without applause, without excuses. In Nigeria, and far beyond its borders, one group stands out, not because of political power, not because of oil wealth, and not because of government favor, but because of something far more enduring: self-belief. This is the story of Igbo cities and Igbo villages. It is the story of a people who learned through hardship and loss that dignity is not given, it is built. Across the southeastern corner of Nigeria, cities rise, not as monuments to government planning, but as testament to private enterprise. Villages flourish, not as forgotten relics of the past, but as living, breathing centers of wealth, culture, and identity. To understand why Igbo can hold their heads high anywhere in the world, one must first understand the land they return to and the cities they refuse to abandon. The Igbo worldview is shaped by one central belief: a man's worth is measured not by where he comes from, but by what he builds. Long before colonial boundaries were drawn, Igbo society operated without kings, without centralized authority, and without imperial structures. Instead, power was decentralized, responsibility was shared, achievement was personal. In Igboland, no one waits for the crown to confer relevance. Every individual is expected to rise or fall by effort, discipline, and courage. This philosophy gave birth to the culture of relentless ambition. Failure was not shameful, dependency was. From the mindset emerged traders, craftsmen, inventors, builders, and industrialists. Men and women who understood that survival itself was a form of enterprise. On the eastern bank of the River Niger lies Onitsha, one of West Africa's most commercially active cities. Onitsha was never built to impress tourists. It was built to move goods, generate wealth, and reward initiatives. Its market pours with energy, electronics, textiles, pharmaceuticals, building materials circulating daily in volumes, rivaling entire national economies. What makes Onitsha remarkable is not just its scale, but its ownership. The warehouses, the transport fleets, the import chains, these are not assets of states. They belong to individuals, families, apprentices, who became masters. Aba, the city that refused to die. Aba is not just a city, it is an argument against neglect, an argument against despair. Known across Africa for its leather works, garments, and manufacturing ingenuity, Aba survives and thrives despite chronic infrastructure failure. Shoes made here walk the streets of Lagos, Accra, Nairobi, and beyond. Fashion brands emerge not from luxury factories, but from cramped workshops powered by creativity and resilience. Aba teaches a powerful lesson: when institutions fail, ingenuity steps in. Nnewi stands as perhaps the most striking example of Igbo industrial self-creation. With no seaports, no federal industrial parks, and no government-led master plan, Nnewi became an industrial nerve center. Automotive parts, manufacturing plants, engineering hubs, entire industries grew from family businesses, passed from father to son, apprentice to master. This was capitalism without comfort, industry without subsidy, progress without applause. To outsiders, villages are places people escape from. In Igboland, villages are places people return to. Across Anambra, Imo, Abia, Enugu, and the Ebonyi states, villages tell a different story from the African narrative of abandonment. Here, paved roads snake through ancestral homes. Solar-powered streetlights illuminate compounds built with architectural ambition. Mansions rise not as symbols of excess, but as declarations of belonging. These homes are not investments for rent. They are investments in identity. At the heart of Igbo village development lies an institution older than modern Nigerian governance, the town union. Town unions coordinate development, resolve disputes, and mobilize resources across continents. From New York to Johannesburg, London to Guangzhou, Igbo sons and daughters contribute monthly to projects back home. Roads are built, health centers funded, schools renovated, not by politicians, but by the people. Every December, the road leading east tells a familiar story, immigration. Millions return home, not out of obligation, but out of pride. Funerals become reunions. Festivals become economic explosions. Villages swell with life, commerce, and celebration. This ritual of return is not nostalgia, it is strategy. Pride is dangerous when it is empty, but pride anchored in achievement becomes dignity. Igbo confidence does not come from titles, it comes from evidence. Cities built without government, villages transformed without aid, wealth earned not allocated. This is why an Igbo man or woman walks tall anywhere in the world, because behind them is a city that walks and a village that waits, not in poverty, but in pride. In the end, Igbo cities and villages tell one unified story: that dignity does not require permission, that progress is possible without power, and that a people who build their world with their own hands will always hold their heads high. Every generation inherits a story. Some inherit a story of loss. Others inherit a story of struggle. The Igbo story is one of survival, and then something greater, self-creation. Across cities built by private hands, across villages transformed by collective will, Across markets, factories, roads, and homes, one truth stands firm. Dignity does not come from power, it comes from purpose. It comes from the quiet confidence of knowing that wherever you go in the world, you come from a place that works, a place that waits for you, not in poverty, but in pride. If this story resonated with you, if it reminded you of home, if it challenged you what you thought you knew about Africa, Nigeria, or the Igbo people, then help this story travel further. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to see the different narrative. Subscribe to 1010 Media for more deeply researched documentaries on culture, resilience, and African excellence. And in the comments, tell us which Igbo city or village represents your pride. Because stories like this are not just history, they are identity. And identity, when preserved, becomes legacy. This is 1010 Media.